Here's one. Should prostitution be legal? Yeah. I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about it on his podcast yesterday, and I was like, wow, it made me think about the whole thing completely in a completely different way.
What was changing your mind?
Well, just, I haven't really thought about it that deeply, honestly, like prostitution, and is it legal? I don't know. I don't even know like where it might be legal. Is it completely
I don't think in
illegal?
California. In Nevada, like in Vegas,
Yeah.
it's legal, yeah.
But they were talking about it with, I forgot who was on. It was another comedian, I think, but it was like, prostitution should be legal. I mean, there's the group, the incels, right? It's I don't even know how to.
Oh, that was Rogan's prescription for
Yeah,
that?
I mean, he was like, well,
that would be his.
He was talking about like, I mean, it's definitely something to think about, like people that unfortunately got a bad hand in terms of the way they look to other people that can't get laid.
I've heard him talk about that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, they can, it's like we need, touch. We need that social connection, and we fucking want to have sex, like biologically speaking. And some people, like, they can't do it. They can't get laid for whatever reason, disabilities, whatever things there are.
Yeah.
Prostitution, like it's like a service, like anything else, right? Anyway, just something to bring up. Like I was just very like, wow, I haven't really thought about it like that. It's such a like taboo thing that people are like, people who are prostitutes, they're whores, and people who do it, it's whatever, it's sleazy and like,
It's basically legal in LA if you film it.
Good point.
Oh wow.
Good
Oh
point.
yeah. I haven't. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just one of those topics, one of those interesting things.
Well, like the drug problem, there's a market issue where if it is illegal, then the steps that people have to take to do something. For example, it's another thing that people will do whether or not it's legal, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
well, my thing is like, just destigmatize it. That's the problem. It seems like is why it's you're judged so harshly. You can't talk about it. If you do it, like you can't talk about it. You're like, for a lot of people, you're immediately a piece of shit. If you've slept with a prostitute before, you know what I mean? That's the thing, is that making it not as, such a horrible negative thing, and I guess some people like you guys love, like, not seem very open-minded. You're not judgmental.
I don't really have a strong opinion. I don't feel judgmental about that.
Yeah. But it's just, I haven't really thought about it like that, you know? Like I was like, these people that are labeled incels who like go to a school, shoot up people, like that anger that builds, that resentment that builds over years of never getting laid, and having this anger and resentment towards women because like you get to that place where you just never have that connection. It's like, well, I wonder what would have happened if like 4 years back they would have slept with a prostitute, had that connection, and not been judged as if they're a piece of shit for doing it.
I see.
Anyway, just
one
of those things. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Are you familiar with essentialism? Like the idea that, well, it's kind of a superstition that we have. It's almost like a logical fallacy that we are something that we have like an essence, and that kind of rubs off. Like if you held Ted Bundy's jacket, that would be somehow worse.
I have not heard of this.
Or something
it sounds
like that.
Really
interesting. That we kind of like rub off. And I'm not talking about like germs, but it probably has a lot to do with our evolutionary past and germs.
Yeah.
But
essentialism is what
essentialism, like that there's, it's basically like the belief, or the accidental belief that there's something unique about what you do independent of its physical consequences. Like again, like if you held a piece of clothing from a serial killer or a celebrity, right? That if you go to the Hard Rock, really anywhere, in restaurants, hotels, they'll have all these things in display cases, and if Jimmy Page only touched that instrument one time, it'd still be like, well, this is, Jimmy Page's guitar, and all of a sudden it's worth $500 million, and why? I'm not sure. If you like, again, if Aliens is my litmus test, so I reference Aliens all the time. Where are they, by the way? If they came down and they asked us, why is this guitar worth $100 in this music store and this one is worth $500,000 at the Hard Rock in a glass bulletproof case, we wouldn't have a good explanation.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
You don't understand. This guy was so important.
Yeah,
he was really cool, you know, and I love his music. And the aliens would say, I don't understand. I don't love his music. And was he that cool? I mean, Nelson Mandela also is of your species. And you're like, no, it wouldn't be cool if Nelson Mandela touched a guitar, but it's Jimmy Page.
That is I have not heard of this. Like, at least put it that way.
I think that's what it's called. If anyone wants to correct me, I think that's what it's called. But so we can get really locked in on something just because of what we interact with.
Yeah. How does this tie into prostitution?
So if you're a prostitute and you have, again, you're the alien, right? So you come down to Earth and you say, I've noticed that the one thing people are organizing their lives around is inserting certain body parts into other body parts of other humans. And I noticed that they don't do it too readily. Not all the time. Not in public, usually. Not unless they have spent some amount of time with each other, and especially alone, right? And they almost never do it when other people are watching. And if they do it when other people are watching, then they're normally filming it, and then other people watch in private while they do that. And what's the deal, right? And people will interact with those same body parts, but only in private, and they almost never do it when they're in front of other people. And what's the deal? What's the special circumstance, you know? So you basically have to explain sex.
I love the alien thing, like bringing that up as a litmus test. It's such a perfect way to bring it up. It's a
good way
think about
of catching myself when I'm thinking in an all too human way about something.
Kind of reminds me of John Rawls's Veil of Ignorance a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? A book?
Do explain.
Tell me.
Oh boy, here we go.
I have a ton of shit I need to put in the show notes.
It's a good philosophical bedrock, though, to use.
It's like a thought experiment where if we want to figure out if a principle is, valuable, we think of like a veil of ignorance. So if I'm going to appear on Earth, should this principle apply to me if I'm going to appear somewhere? Like, I don't know what class I'm going to be in, what skin color, what sexuality. So if I have no idea where I'm going to end up, should we go by this value? So it's a way of like judging that value ahead of time.
I see. I see.
Another way of saying it is basically if you were parachuted onto the Earth from the heavens and you had no idea where you were going to land or how you were going to be treated, how would you want to set up the entire world or any society such that anyone could be parachuted into that society and flourish?
I see.
So if I was going to be parachuted into Afghanistan, I hope that I am a grown-up male, basically. Arabic male, and or rather Middle Eastern male. If I was being parachuted into 19th century America, I better hope that I am not an African American, not African, or even have dark skin at all. Let alone be a woman.
God, so why isn't this talked about? More, this concept. I mean, like
it's talked about by people who like talking about it.
I mean, like that's like a really good way to think think it.
It's kind of like categorical imperative.
What's your hesitation?
Have you thought about it that way?
I haven't connected that.
Like the categorical imperative, act only on that maxim by which you can at the same time will that it be a universal law. So if everyone did it this way, would we be better off? So if I lied to you this one time about this one thing and I said, well, it's just one lie, but the rule is everyone in that situation lies about that thing, that'd be bad. We don't want that. So don't steal. A lot of things immediately vanish, right? Don't run on the grass, right? If I ran on the grass, but everyone ran on the grass would die. So I shouldn't run on the grass. So that becomes an injunction. So anyway, no, that's the point, right? Spasm. That's okay. I understand.
I have a nerdy anecdote about a categorical imperative. When I first moved to the area with the Trader Joe's, with the grocery store, they had the cloth bags for sale. So I had that in my basket, but people thought I had already, bought the cloth bag. So I didn't know that, and I figured out when I got home, oh shoot, they didn't charge me for the bag. So I'm like, oh no, if everybody did that, they'd lose a lot of money. So I went back and told them, oh, I didn't pay for this. So I had them charge me for it, and they're like, wow, that's really nice of you.
I'm like, that is very nice. It's very cordial.
Right. So Reid is the walking embodiment of Immanuel Kant. Just to let everybody know, he's as ethical
Damn.
and as punctual.
What did they say? Were they like, how can we prevent this?
I don't know, but
Just don't even worry
I
about
just
it.
remember thinking that of Kant's principle.
Yeah. So, and for anyone out there who's skeptical that philosophy does anything for us in modern times,
there you go.
It's effectively shaping our behaviors. I do actually, I think of that all the time, especially in those cases. I think, no, this isn't cool. I don't want to be another one of the people who do this, even if it's kind of insignificant or it seems insignificant. That's a good litmus test for me too.
Yeah, for sure.
But so if you were born in such a circumstance that you either could not have sex, not by choice, or you could have sex with a lot of people and you wanted to get paid for it, then what kind of world do we want to live in where you could be one of each of those people?
Yeah.
And so the essentialism thing to me is, let's say after you get past any kind of religious doctrine that might say that having sex is only for these circumstances at these times.
Yeah.
Let's say you're not even bound by that. It kind of feels icky to know that, oh, this person I was with charged somebody to have sex with them.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to be with that person because they had sex with this person who I despise or who I think is gross. So as far as not catching STDs, it might be a good rule of thumb.
I was going to say like, well,
I mean, there's that scene in Clerks about the number of blowjobs his girlfriend had. He's like, whatever, how many number it was. He was freaked out about it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, are you physically having sex with as many people as your partner has had sex with? Only in terms of as potential STDs. But if the aliens came down and they said, oh, it looks like here, and they were observing that. Let's say they had surveillance on everybody, and they looked into the bedroom somewhere, and they said, oh, here we have this man who is about to engage in coitus with this woman, just like everyone does, and he just handed her, standard modern currency for his country of and then she left, and then he had a conversation with someone later, and that person was upset that he had done that.
Yeah.
The aliens would probably have
they'd be like, what?
no clue why that happened.
Yeah, why the hell?
Yeah. And similarly, the woman, if someone confronted the woman about it, or if she was in some situation where that caused her shame or embarrassment, the aliens probably would still have no idea why. Yeah. Why is that so much worse? In fact, they might even encourage it. They might say, might as well get paid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's the way to think about it.
It's a way to think about it.
Well, I mean, like
that's excluding the other human. So some of my clientele have said prostitution is the best thing that they've ever chosen to do because it's like, great, easy money. I needed the cash at the time. They don't have any objection to, and especially if they're fortunate enough, I guess, or if they had the luxury of choosing their clients. If they had some sort of established kind of system where life is really good, and there was a freedom in that, and it was a like a service job almost, right? Or absolutely. And also, some of my clients have said, prostitution was the lowest of the low for me. I really regret ever doing something sexual for money because XYZ. And people have different reasons. So I think it would be stupid of me to meet someone and hear that they've either had sex with a prostitute or have been a prostitute, and then to immediately jump to a conclusion that was a good or bad thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It always requires a question. So how was that?
Yeah.
Was that something you wanted to do? Not? Would you do it again? Do you regret it?
Yeah.
Are you happy about it? Did it serve you?
For
that
sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah.